Hey, what's up, everyone? Another BRAP. I did a BRAP last night. I said I was going to do a show probably later this week. I didn't expect to do a show today, but I saw a lot of the commentary on social media, different social media platforms, actually outside of X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook. I was reading some of the other forums, and people are trying to get their hands on specifically the PlayStation 30th anniversary collection, which is sold out now. It was only a limited amount of 30th anniversary consoles that they were making. I think there was like 12,300. But people are trying to get PlayStation 5 Pros right now. And before we get into that, and me trying to get into the queue, I do want to give a big shout out to everyone in the everyone here in the live chat. Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me for this very impromptu BRAP rant. But yeah, it's just like it looks like Moby 3412 says I got the standard Pro. Habusa saying I got a bundle, went back later and got a Pro. Yeah, it looks like D True 49 says just secured the regular Pro, was in the market for the 30th edition. So but all right, so we're gonna talk about the PS4 I said PS4, the PS5 Pro, the Donnell, I'm gonna try to get one. We're gonna talk about the PS5 Pro pre-orders and a tweet that I put out earlier today about the conversation around the PS5 Pro, and it was announced, that I thought was kind of ridiculous, and some of the things we're seeing from Digital Foundry, which I talked about last night. But anyway, let's go ahead and officially kick off the show right now. All right, so let's try this real quick. Let's see if I can get in and get a PS5 Pro, despite what Donnell Brown is saying. Oh, look at that. Okay, so earlier in the day, the estimated wait time was over an hour. It's 7 minutes now. Perhaps people have given up, but we'll see. I'm in this temporary waiting room. Moby 3412 says Portal and Pro still available in the UK. At the very least, I'll probably get a controller. All right, so about an hour ago it was an hour way to attempt a pre-order, and now it is 7 minutes, so we'll see. Ooh, I tell you, man. But I will say this: it's been really cool to see a lot of the excitement on different social media platforms from gamers who were interested in securing a 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro console, or the PS5 Pro. And it's interesting, like when, and I said this earlier today on Twitter. I put out a post that said an hour way to attempt a pre-order. This is why I don't pay attention to the grifting pundits, because I do believe that many people on YouTube are grifting off emotion and anger. Seems to be a lot of a lot of controversy, manufactured anger narratives, just to get people upset, riled up, and to monetize off that emotion. And I don't understand that. Maybe it's because I'm older, but it's not something that we do on this channel. We're trying to have a very different conversation. D-Truth says the wait was an hour and 45 minutes. Checkout went smooth. That's great that you had no issues checking out. I did see some other people say they were having issues checking out. They weren't able to either put the PS5 Pro in the virtual basket, if you will, and then if they did, they couldn't check out. So, but back to the tweet, I said, this is why I don't pay attention to the grifting pundits who always question who a product is for. Those who do not understand market stratification amongst the consumer base, and that's the problem. That's the problem with. I'm sorry, give me a sec here. Um, that's the issue, really. That we have people who are making commentary, even like there was the IGN podcast. I forget which one it is with Brian Altano. I don't think this is media bias. By the way, I'm not saying IGN is anti PlayStation the way Xbox fans typically discuss or typically describe IGN as being. But some of the commentary from a video that I watched, I forget the podcast. It's not Unlocked. It's Beyond Podcast Beyond on IGN. They were discussing the PS5 Pro, and it was really amazing to me that the sort of what I would describe as mental gymnastics and really yeah, I don't know if they were trying to prolong the conversation around the PS5 Pro on this particular show, but it's pretty simple. This is a device that is for high end users, for people that want high end performance on a console. It's what Digital Foundry said. Digital Foundry had summarized the PS5 Pro as being for someone who wants, and we're now at 5 minutes waiting time, but again, described it as a console that is for someone who wants a high end performance. Um, and yes, the dude bot says no more PS5 Pro anniversary yet, sold out. And that's sort of, and it's interesting because in Digital Foundry's testing, they tested 11 games. I encourage everyone to go watch the video of the hands-on for 11 games that have PS5 Pro enhancements to them. They said that it's worth the purchase if you're that consumer who wants that high end performance on a console. They said it's almost like similar to upgrading a GPU or tier or two tiers up from a GPU perspective. And so that is who this for. That's who this particular product's for. And it's baffling to hear the kind of conversations that I've heard from pundits, from in particular that podcast Beyond. I'm thinking about Brian Altano saying, "Oh, well, they don't need to release a PlayStation 5 Pro. They need to do a console that retails for $350 to bring all those people in." And my only commentary to that is the obvious should be, well, why aren't they doing that? And maybe it's because that particular consumer that's at $350 may not be the consumer that they're targeting now. That they're looking for a consumer who's going to spend a lot of money within their ecosystem, given how mature the console market is. Very similar to Apple, the way Apple is kind of the way Apple sells additional products to its consumers. Apple, the iPhone in particular, the mobile market is a mature market, and typically we see companies do this. They will when they're in a mature market, one way is to grow is to sell more things to your existing consumer base, which is what Apple's doing. Very similar to what PlayStation is doing. Galaxy Taco just said, just got mine. All right, awesome. So you just got his. You have to add a couple minutes, you have to add a couple times to cart. Was glitching out and was pissing me off. Okay, so Galaxy Taco has secured his PS5 Pro. Congratulations. So we're at 3 minutes right now. 3 minutes and counting. I feel like this is kind of like New Year's. but I think that the commentary over the console market dying, very hyperbolic. Developers that I've talked to behind the scenes, analysts that I've talked to, no one is saying that. They've all agreed, yes, it's a mature market, but they've also pointed to mobile being a mature market, and no one is kind of having those conversations about mobile or other mature markets the way they are about console gaming. And I get the sense that it's just more so to push a narrative that one company is doing something better than the other. The reality is they're doing different things. The reality is the pie is so big in gaming, they can each carve, a nice niche out or a nice piece of the pie and be profitable doing so. We know this because we see this in the console space and in other markets as well. But really, in particular, like when I look at, there was an article that that Hamp Game Logic had pointed to me by, I think it's Boomer Apple. I think is is the blog, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he wrote about Apple's strategy and the fact that they sit in this mature market. And one of the things Apple's doing is they're selling more things to their consumers, to Apple consumers, because they do sit kind of in a mature market in a space where they're not going to see much growth in terms of mobile, but the way to see growth is to introduce new services. When I see services like software services, introduce new hardware that you can sell. Again, it made me think about, okay, this is very similar to what PlayStation's doing. And we see this with the PS5 Pro. You see this with, the DualSense Edge, with the PlayStation Portal. You see this with the you see this with their the Pulse 3D audio and the Pulse Pro, or I don't think it's called the Pulse Pro headsets, but the high-end Pulse audio headsets. So you see all this. No, the PS5 Pro is not equivalent to an RTX 4070 per se. You have to strip some things out of the 4070, but it's not there. It's not an apples to apples, dude bach. But no, we're at 2 minutes. So it's just interesting. I think it's a bit overblown. People predicting the demise of console. I think there's a subset of consumers, at least for now, and who knows what 30 years in the future is going to look like. But there's a consumer set now that wants the easy plug and play, high end console experience where they can sit in front of their 55-inch or 65-inch OLED and just play video games. There's people out here who want to sit in front of a PC and have the ability to scale games based on their own hardware, or the ability to interchange CPUs, GPUs, or different parts. And there's people who want a cheap entry level into gaming, who want cheap access. So I think that just speaks to the market stratification in gaming. And a lot of the pundits and podcasters that I listen to always forget about that. It's maddening to me. It really does drive me bonkers, because I'm like, guys, like, stop with the mental gymnastics. This doesn't need to be, you guys are overcomplicating the conversation. Some of it's to fuel fake narratives or drive outrage. Like the new grift that I'm seeing now is that somehow this console generation has been disastrous. I don't agree with that. Like to me, that's probably somebody who's coming from somebody who probably doesn't really either doesn't really believe what he's saying and is manufacturing that just to drive more channels and revenue to his particular platform, or probably somebody who doesn't play video games much. Or maybe they're being sincere, which in this individual, I'm not going to name their names. I don't think they're being sincere. But maybe someone may feel that, oh, you know what? I don't think that, that this generation's met my requirements as a consumer. Now, I will say this, I will say this, if that's the case, that's fair, but I wouldn't apply that to the rest of, I wouldn't say, hey, because the generation hasn't met my requirements, therefore it is bad across the board, because I should be aware enough to understand that consumers have different requirements and are going to have different perspectives on that. All right, let's see here. Less than a minute. We'll grab the super chat here real quick. Grizzly Bear King with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, BRAP, IGN told me no one wants the Pro, Why did I have to wait 1.5 hours in line to buy one, snag an anniversary portal, and two dual senses? I mean, that's kind of my point, Grizzly Bear. All right, here we go. All right. The 30th is out. Oh shoot, I gotta sign in to buy. Hold on a sec here. Give me a sec here. I don't want everyone to see my sign in. All right. I completely forgot I needed to sign in. Hopefully it doesn't kick me out of the queue. All right. Now I got two-step verification enabled. I got to put that in. And then I'll share my screen here in a sec. All right. Let me go back here, share the screen. All right. All right, folks. We're back in business. All right. So here we go. I'm signed in now. All right. Let's see here. So the PlayStation 5 30th anniversary edition, as we mentioned, is sold out. You can still get the PlayStation Portal 30th anniversary edition. 290, 220 for that. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. If I was interested in playing games, PlayStation games on a portal device, I'm not. That's why I haven't bought a PlayStation Portal. See if I can add the PlayStation 5 Pro at $700. Oh wow, look at that. Well, there you have it. I was able to get in the cart. Oop, I don't want to share my information there. All right, so it looks like you can still snag this thing. All right, there you go. You can still get it. That's good. Back to PS5 Pro. All right, so that's actually so it looks like you can still get the PS5 Pro for $700, but the 30th anniversary edition sold out. And then I believe the retail pre-orders are next week or the week after. I have to look this up again. Let me double check here. All right, it looks like October 10th is when you can. So the PS5 Pro is going to release November 7th, as we know, and it looks like October 10th is when you can pre-order at your local retailers. Oh, happy birthday, Ice Queen Gaming! Happy birthday, or early happy birthday to you, I should say. Give me just a sec here. All right. Good luck, everyone trying to secure a Pro. I'm in Canada. Just secured a Pro from Best Buy. That's awesome. Moby says, put in the address again. What do you mean the address? Yeah, so it looks like it looks like the pre-orders are still available. Again, I didn't try checking it out, but it's not sold out. I mean, there's the option there to get the PS5 Pro. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see if this thing sells out. The standard PS5 Pro at $700. Be interesting to see if that sells out. Look at the PS5. I don't know if they have the 30th here. So here's what I'm thinking about doing, and I was thinking about this. I may end up actually trading in my Series X. It's actually not mine. It's what the Series X that my kids are using. They don't really play it at all. They primarily play on the PS5 now. My 10-year-old's playing on PC now too, and then they'll play with the Nintendo Switch. So I may trade in the Series X and the launch PlayStation 5 for um for the PlayStation 5 Pro is what I'm thinking. All right, Jose Enriquez saying I can't add to cart. Now, Jose, are you doing the pre-order on assuming you're oh, he's saying PlayStation Pro won't add to cart on PlayStation Direct. Interesting. Okay. Sam says this really takes me back to 2020 when we were all trying to get a launch PS5. I mean, I remember we talked about this on BRAP yesterday when when we um when they announced like pre-orders are going to go live like in a couple hours. I remember rushing out to GameStop to put in my pre-order. I remember getting there was a line. I was like the second to last person to get a pre-order in. You know, and I'm wondering. It's funny. I'm wondering how many people went in trying to get a PlayStation 5 Pro 30th anniversary edition and then didn't get it and then just ended up saying, "What the heck? I'm just going to pre-order the PlayStation 5 Pro." So, Zay, I actually did. You may want to try if you have the ability to maybe try not on your phone. Maybe I don't know if that would make a difference, but It's funny. I'm seeing, and this is kind of the issue I have with the discourse around content creators. Destin Legary being one of them, kind of questioning who the PlayStation 5 Pro is for. And I did agree with his commentary. I think the and he didn't say this. I mean, the easiest thing to arrive to, the easiest conclusion to arrive to, is that it's for a consumer who wants a high end console experience, whereas Digital Foundry said somebody who wants high end, performance, console performance. Destin just tweeted out that he successfully pre-ordered PlayStation 5 Pro, and he was one of those naysayers. This is again the issue, the disingenuous nature of the conversation around gaming from content creators, journalists at times. Not all journalists, but some. It's really unfortunate. Like I think journalists do have a job, I guess, to inform consumers of products. At least when discussing products, informing of what the product is, who it may be for, as opposed to doing the mental gymnastics and being like, I don't know if this is for anyone. Sony's overcharging. Sony's doing this. Well, the consumer will decide whether or not Sony's overcharging, not you per se. But I think it's important for them to discuss. I think fairly discuss pros and cons. Who this might be for, what kind of consumer this might be for. If you're looking, if you're not somebody who wants high-end console experiences, or feels like $700 is outside your price range, and this isn't for you. I mean, that's a fair conversation to have. But these guys went off the deep end. We're doing a lot of mental gymnastics, and it's just unfortunate. It really just drags down the conversation around gaming. We don't do that here. It's why we try to have different conversations. Douglas Berry says I was able to get a dual sense. Yeah, the 30th anniversary controllers are still available. All right, it looks like somebody had mentioned. Just saw somebody on Twitter, so they got the 30th anniversary edition. Yeah, looks like the 30th anniversary PlayStation Pro was sold out in minutes. Again, it's an enthusiast collector's device edition. I'm not surprised. But I'm seeing it's great. I'm seeing general excitement for people pre-ordering the PS5 Pro. It's interesting because these pre-orders are people that aren't trading in their console, their existing or whatever console they currently own. They're buying this thing outright. Yes, Ice Queen Gaming, the Ghost of Yote trailer is actually pretty amazing. Very, very, very happy to see that. By the way, happy anniversary to Castlevania. On this day, 1986, Simon Belmont stepped into Dracula's castle and the hunt began. 38 years later, the legacy lives on. Man, I remember Castlevania. That was such a great game. Douglas says, I'm waiting for GameStop pre-orders. Yeah, again, I might do that. I might just trade in Series X and the launch PlayStation edition, PlayStation 5 edition console I have. And, I'll be good trading those two consoles, and I'll get easily pay, and the trading value should pay for the PS5 Pro console itself. Though I'm gonna have to get I'm gonna have to get the disk drive. Cloud Strife says I got one and a controller. Oh, so you got Cloud, did you get the so you got the PS5 Pro, not the 30th anniversary. Blue Arrow says Digital Foundry actually did a much better job explaining the positives of the Pro than Sony did. Yeah, I mean, because Digital Foundry, I mean, they were able to kind of do a tech dive. But actually, Blue, they're what Digital Foundry pulled is actually from what Sony presented to Digital Foundry, a couple other media sites. They had them come into California to sit down hands on. Seattle Chef says, I just got the Pro and disk drive. Drongoria says, pre-ordered mine, 800 euros, expensive. Yeah, but it's for me. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm saying consumers. So this is why I don't like a lot of the discourse in gaming today, because you see, like Drongoria says, like he says it's expensive, but it's for me. I mean, look, the reality is consumers are going to buy things that they find value in or see value in. Moby 3412 with a £5 super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Says OG PS5 trade in bought Pro White Pro White Edge, 2 Portals, 2 DualSense, all anniversary. Pro bundle was in my basket, was too slow to add address. Matty B says Pro pre-ordered. Sam Walton says I got the 30th DualSense Edge and Portal. I got the Pro just in case I can't get it at GameStop with my trade-in. Yeah, that's actually probably a smart move. Yeah, actually, Sam, it's funny you mentioned. I didn't know Blaze did, but J-Dub, I actually spoke to J-Dub. J-Dub mentioned he had a 30th. He was able to snag a 30th anniversary Pro. So yeah, so again, go back to the comment earlier about, hey, it's for me. Again, I don't understand the mental gymnastics and the need for content creators, not all content creators, some pundits, journalists, to just tear something down before it's released to the public, and just kind of poo poo on it. I don't understand. Like I think I get I could understand if something is very egregious, maybe in terms of um, y- you know. Uh, in terms of how a company may roll a product out, or maybe they're doing something that teeters on the line of being anti-consumer. But yeah, and I could certainly appreciate the sticker shock of the PS5 Pro. But again, I think that there was a lot of focus on the price, and I understand it, but also I think that we should also acknowledge that while there's some that are priced out because of the sticker price, there are also some that are not. And again, this is for an enthusiast consumer. Consumers willing to spend $700. That's not everyone. And I think gamers often, and I think content creators do this too. Not all content creators, but I think people often think that everything game related needs to be for them, and it's no. You're not. You're not going to necessarily fall into every category, or every consumer or game that releases is going to be tailored for you. It's just not. That's not how things work. We all have different taste, different requirements. I think people tend to forget that, and it just drags down the conversation. Hassan Aslam says, I was able to get a 30th anniversary around 10 a.m. I started the line around 8:30. Wow. So he was in there for about 2 hours. 30th anniversary was $1,000. I tell you that if I got my hands on one, I don't even know if I take it out of the box. I would just leave it in there. I mean, it's gonna be a valuable collector's item. I mean, like when are they gonna do this again? But it's interesting, like, I did see people say, don't get the PS5 Pro. I remember seeing that argument going around. I'm like, why are you telling consumers that? Understand that each consumer has a different requirement. This isn't for every consumer. I mean, it's why we have um, different points of entry in the console space. I mean, even with Xbox, you have the Series S. We're not telling people don't buy the Series X because there's a cheaper version of the Series S or a cheaper version of the Series S, or don't buy a Nintendo handheld because you can use your phone to play video games. Like we that's what I'm saying. Like the conversation's always more nuanced than what people give it credit. All right. Let's see. I'm sorry, reading the chat here. Yeah, I mean, the 30th anniversary box is the exact same as the PS1 box. Really hit my nostalgia hard. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it hit a lot of people's nostalgia hard. And same one says I really wanted to play the 30th anniversary Pro. I think a lot of people did. A lot of people wanted it. Oh, all right. Jose ended up getting the PS5 Pro. He says, I did try different browser on my phone and it went through and got it ordered. Thank you for the help. That's awesome. I know somebody was helping you in the live chat, so thank you. And in regards to the PS5 Pro, I mean, the conversation about who is this for? I mean, we actually have data based on the sales of the PS4 Pro to at least come to an understanding that the Pro console within the PlayStation ecosystem is for a very small subset of that of PlayStation consumers. The PS4 Pro sold about 15% of the made up about 15% of the total install base of the PS4 Pro. So I think we have an understanding. Again, I don't understand the mental gymnastics. We have an understanding who this is for. It's for a very small subset of that consumer. I will think I do, and I think it's a fair question to ask. I do wonder with the $700 price point, if it's what kind of impact it's going to have. I mean, I know Ampere analysts are predicting that the PS5 Pro will probably sell close to, in terms of the install, the percentage, maybe not 15% as the PS4 Pro did, but maybe 13, 14%. They think there might be some a little bit of a soft hit to units sold based on the $700 price point. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ampere with their Ampere analysts what they're predicting actually ends up happening with the PS5 Pro. Geez, I've seen scalpers already having posting the PlayStation 5 Pro 30th anniversary console, $12,300. Somebody will probably buy that. Somebody who's wealthy and just has money to spend like that. But yeah, 12,000 is insane. Douglas, October 10th is when the pre-orders go up for retailers. No, there's components. There's no easy way to avoid scalpers. They're out there. They're out there. I've lived this with Nike. Yes, for those who are wondering when the retail pre-orders go live. There we go. Hassan Aslam says retailers go October 10th, 10 a.m. So bookmark that date on your calendar. What's up, Def Floyd? Hey, Capono. By the way, I didn't say hello, Capono. We missed you in the Wednesday night show. I haven't seen you in the live chat, but great to see you. I miss you seeing you on Wednesday nights. Captain Ply says HBO just dropped a new Last of Us 2 trailer. It's insanely good. I haven't seen that trailer. No, FOMO did not get me. It might get me though with trading value. Jalen Brock says, I really think there's no point of buying the Sony handheld thing. Okay. That just means it's not for you, Jalen. Douglas Perry says, do you think bots got it, BRAP? I think some bots did. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I need to check out this Last of Us 2 trailer. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Hold on a sec here. Let me see if I can find this. All right, here we go. Let's pull this trailer up here. All right, let me just pull up this trailer. We can watch it here real quick. Cuts, what's going on, Cuts? See Cuts in the live chat. Haircuts for the win. Cuts, we got to get you back on BRAP soon. It's been a minute. All right, I'm going to play this trailer real quick. All right, here we go.
Oh, you want to start or what? Let's try something different. You can't heal something unless you're brave enough to say it out loud. Say the thing you're afraid to say. Say it out loud, no matter what it is, no matter how bad. What did you do?
Days of you and me.
Wow. I thought that was a good trailer. Obviously there's things in that trailer that they showed that are true to what you would experience in the game. Yeah, I thought it was a great. I thought it was a good trailer. I think someone said in the live chat. No, Erica, I did not get the Pro. Did not get the Pro. But Pearl Jam. But yeah, I mean that was a great. I thought it was a great trailer. I mean, we see Abby there. There were things there that were very much reminiscent of almost to I would say to a T to what we saw in game. Yeah, I was waiting in line, Erica. Actually, I was so early in the day, Erica. It was like an hour wait, and then when I went live, it was like 7 minutes, and then I was able to get in, and I was able actually to get a PS5 Pro in the cart. I need to check it out because I'm not planning on ordering one. If I do get one, I'll probably trade in some consoles to get it, but at GameStop. Capono says, I'm so curious how they handle the Joel situation. I am too. And I wonder if they maybe even draw that situation out. Maybe. I don't know. But clearly Joel is I forget the actress's name. She's from Home Alone and Schitt's Creek. I forget her name. She's talking to Joel. She's like, what did you do? I think that is a conversation around what Joel did and not allowing the Fireflies to operate on Ellie, and knowing that she possibly held the cure for humanity to and he couldn't bear, I guess, losing what he sees as another daughter in a sense. He lost his daughter Sarah at the beginning of The Last of Us. In the video game and the television show, they show that as well. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be another good show. Erica says casting looks good for Abby, yeah, and Dina, yeah, I agree. But it's interesting as I think about The Last of Us Part 2, the video game. I've gone back and have played The Last of Us Part 1 quite a few times. I played The Last of Us Part 2 once, and I just haven't had desire to go back. Yeah, Capone said Joel also told her there were others like her, which probably isn't true. It might not be true, but maybe, Capone, it begs the question. Maybe too. Maybe there are others like her. I don't think he knows that. I'm just thinking like maybe within the world, could she be the only one? Maybe there's others. I don't know. But what we do know for sure is that she is in the story like the only one. But yeah, you're right. Joel wasn't necessarily truthful to her either. Yeah, the dodge mechanic was actually good. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I just maybe the game. I didn't like the pacing of the game of Last of Us Part Two as much. The going back and forth between the different characters. It wasn't I don't think it's a terrible game. I thought it's a really good game. I just if I compare it to The Last of Us Part One, I still very much prefer the experience of Part One. Yeah, me too. Ice Queen Gaming. That when Joel lost his daughter when they killed Sarah, like that was a punch in the gut. Maybe that's the next storyline for three. Maybe Douglas. More curious with the reason of people who more curious with the reason of people who never played the games but watch the show if we get the same backlash. You're saying same backlash for the Joel scenario? You know, I it's interesting. I think with Joel as a character, I think that we for some people he was in some ways was beloved as a hero, maybe. And by the way, spoilers. I should mention the spoilers. If you haven't played The Last of Us Part Two, you should just turn off the show right now. You've been warned. But I think with what they do with Joel in Part Two, I think for some people because they may have viewed him as a hero in a way, and they identified with his pain, his loss of his daughter Sarah in the first one, and then kind of forming this special bond with Ellie and kind of assuming almost like the role of a father figure and him and her becoming kind of a daughter to Joel, kind of filling in a void that he's had. Let's not forget, I mean, and the show reminds us of the complexity of Joel as a character that Joel didn't do good things to survive. And he pretty clear about that. He's got a history there that he did things to survive, to kill people. He talked about in the show, in particular, you know, killing people, doing things to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. And you know, you see that in the show too when they escape Boston and he beats up that federal officer. I believe kills him. But you know, I part of what happens to Joel, and I think one of the things I like about the Last of Us is that it takes characters that I've identified, and Joel in particular, that we have that we feel have that we have empathy for, right? For him as a character, for what he went through with losing Sarah and everything, and so forth, and then we forget that he's done these heinous things. We forget that he, you know, look, you could argue um, that he's lost his that he did something that was selfish in a way that something that could have potentially saved humanity, but for his own reasons, selfish reasons, didn't want to do that because of his attachment to Ellie, and then you know having lost his daughter Sarah, and maybe not wanting to process that emotion again, or maybe for him it's taking back um, an opportunity or taking back an experience that he had no control over with Sarah, and now actually finally having control and being able to do something about it and saving Ellie, the way he couldn't save his daughter. So I think, but with that came the loss of people who had loved ones, and that's you know when Abby comes into play, right? Her father was one of the individuals that Joe killed, and so I think there's a level of in a post-apocalyptic world where there's not a lot of rule. Um, uh, there's some rule of law, but there's also a lot of anarchy, a lot of chaos. In a chaotic world, this is what happens, and I think that's kind of the presentation, or what I think the what Naughty Dog Neil Druckmann was trying to drive home. I think that point, that these aren't normal times, and while we may identify him as a hero in some instances, he did some things that aren't necessarily hero like, and as a result, these were the repercussions in a very imperfect world, in a society that's lost. So just my 2 cents. By the way, I think that's one of the things I love about video games, that the ability to think about video games that have some kind of emotional impact on us as gamers. Not all games do this, but I think that's one of the things I love about the art form of video games, that they're often games that we play that make us think about things, or look at the characters that we're playing as, and think about the choices that they make and the impact that those choices have. So Graph Digger 98 says regular pros are still in stock. Yeah, they are still in stock. So it's going to be interesting how quickly those sell out. It's going to be interesting to see after, how the pros do at retail when they release November 7th. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Ampere Analyst believes that the PS5 Pro will probably sell around the same as the PS4 Pro too, about 15% of the install base. They said around. They think it's going to be slightly less. Like, I think 12%, if I remember correctly, 13% of install base. I think some of that's going to be a result of the $700 price point, which doesn't surprise me. I think that price point did price maybe some out that were interested in a Pro. Component 5150 says you could tell the game wanted you to feel bad for Abby. Yeah, I get that sense too. I think that's why they wanted us to play as the character Abby, to get kind of her backstory and try to have some kind of emotional connection to her as a character. That was hard for me to do in the game. I'm not sure if others, felt a connection to her, but I did. It was very hard for me to do that. And in part because of what happened to Joel, Like, I understand Abby's loss. I understand that. Like, but I don't know. There's something a bit more impactful with Joel's loss of Sarah, and probably because she's a child. But I don't know. I think Component's a great conversation to have. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this quick lunchtime. If you want a lunchtime BRAP rant, we were able to successfully get a PS5 Pro in the cart. Again, I didn't check out because if I do get a PS5 Pro, I will be doing so at GameStop with trade-ins, console trade-ins. And as we know, the PS5 Pro 30th Anniversary Edition console is sold out, but they are still PS5 Pros available for pre-order, and they are PS5 30th Anniversary Edition accessories that are still available for pre-order as well. So I do want to thank everyone for watching the show. If you did get a chance to check out last night's BRAP, great show. I had it was myself, our two guests, Ramon Terrell and Nate, and we also had B Money, Slow-Mo Backslap, and Gaming Forte, part of the BRAP panel members that were on last night as well. So definitely check out that show if you haven't checked it out. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to drop a link to that show here in the live chat. So So after this live stream wraps up, go over, click on the link I just posted in the live chat below, and watch last night's BRAP if you did not get a chance to. I may also do another BRAP ramp. Erica, seriously, we do need to get you back. How do I contact you, Erica? Discord, is that the best way to get in touch with you now? I know you're no longer on X. Skibbity, if you could wait till October 10th, you have a chance to pre-order at retail for the PS5 Pro. Okay, Discord. All right, so Discord is all right. Cool. I'll have to reach out to you on Discord. Bam Bam. Well, last I checked, about 35 minutes ago, the 30th anniversary portal was not sold out. It was still in stock. But as I mentioned, after this live stream wraps up, go over, check out the last night's BRAP with myself, Slow-Mo Backslap, B-Money, Gaming Forte, and our guest, Nate and Ramon Terrell. I did drop a link above here in the live chat for last night's show. May do another BRAP rant because the Tokyo Game Show kicked off yesterday, and Xbox did have its Tokyo Game Show event. They did announce some games. So I'm going to want to talk about that. And well, Skibbity, you can actually wait till October 10th to do the pre-order through retail stores, Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, EB Games. You'll be able to do that if you're here in the U.S. So, all right, everyone, please do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Helps out the channel. And if you're new, consider subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And give me a follow on X, formerly known as Twitter, at BRAP_podcast. You see that here in the bottom left, BRAP_podcast. Give me a follow there. That way you can get notifications of when I put all the programming updates, when I'm going to go live there on X. If you subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, you can get notifications as well when we go live. So thank you again for the support, everyone. Really appreciate it. And I will catch you all next time.